Long ago, when the world was bright and full of stories, an evil wizard gained the power to touch the face of God. Narrativa, goddess of stories and weaver of our world, banished him to the void, but not before he stole a piece of her divine essence. With this newfound power, the wizard lay a dread curse upon all the world, the Glyph Purge, which struck from the minds of all mortals the knowledge of how to read and write. Now, all that stand between the Isle of Meotia and an age of endless ignorance are the bards, who tell stories of distant lands, exotic creatures, and brave heroes. This is one such tale.
Hello and welcome to Challenge Rating 0, the latest and greatest Dungeons & Dragons podcast to hit the internet airwaves. I am Sam, your Dungeon Master, and I am joined as always by my longtime friends and adventuring companions.
Hello, I'm Brian, and I play Hektor the Gatekeeper.
Hi, I'm Beth, and I play Rilla Longshadow.
Hey there, I'm Alex, and I play Ruger Firehide.
And last but not least, we have the man who calls himself Michael, but who we call Parker, Michael Parker, playing the Druid Zurabak. Say hi, Parker.
Hi, Parker.
Fantastic. We are joined once more for a tale of epic fantasy. Had some interesting shifts in our normal pattern. This is another one of those special episodes where Beth and I are in the same room.
It's so special, Sam always calls it hell. Yay!
It's I mean hell like, you know.
Like how it's paved in good intentions.
Yeah, for sure.
Damn,
yeah.
what a save.
Wow.
Whew.
It's just, it's hell because, you know,
I'm here.
I got nothing. I got
Hell
nothing.
because I'm here.
Hell
We
is
got it.
other people.
Damn, also deep.
Yeah, I did say that, and that's on me, and I apologize. Also, Beth is a narc, listeners, so
Oh, definitely.
know that, I guess. That's good to know. So yeah, if there's some weird energy in the studio today, that's because Beth and I are sitting next to
And I
each
can
other.
call the DM if he lies on his rolls right now.
Yeah, which I do all the time. Everyone
All
knows
the
that.
time. We all know.
Constantly. I'm just making shit up over here.
He can't stop.
Yeah.
I can't. I literally can't. That's why we have screens. All right. Well, we are joined once more for a tale of epic fantasy. Did I already say that?
Nope.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, you did. No, you definitely did.
Possibly.
Okay. Well, the important thing to note is that we're joined once more for a tale of epic fantasy.
You already said that.
When last we left our heroes, Hektor, Rilla Zurabak, and the lawman Ruger Firehide were making their way through the Springvale Forest. They had been tasked with retrieving an ancient piece of arcane material known as a Death's Head Orchid, which grows at the site of bloody and terrible betrayals. Antony Geist the Stricken had told them that one such flower lies under the boughs of the Martyr's Tree, buried deep within this forest that Rilla Longshadow calls her home. And eventually, after getting drunk and forging a disguise, Rilla and the rest of her group did go into the forest using the portal stones at the College of Everspring. As soon as they arrived in the forest, they realized things were not great. The trees were dying, the soil befouled, the streams cloudy, and all of the animal life that calls this ancient forest home have turned rabid, carnivorous, and deadly. Our heroes were assailed by the wretched husks of elves who had been infested with terrible insects who had eaten them from the inside out before trying to devour our protagonists. They escaped after being injured and poisoned, and Rilla in particular, drunk and in a disguise and now poisoned, is not having a very good day. After escaping the terrible swarms of biting, stinging, poisonous insects, Zurabak, scouting ahead, used his druidic abilities to commune with nature, where he found several important factors. One, the location of an elven settlement that Rilla was able to clarify was Greenleaf, the town that she is from. Two, the presence of several horrific unnatural creatures rampaging through the forest, one of which was right next to Greenleaf, and 3, the forest itself in horrific agony and pain, the trees themselves crying out as they are blighted by the wild magic and corruption in the neighboring Badlands, bleeding into this ancient and powerful forest. The old magics have started to sour. The forest is turning dark, and where we left off last time, our heroes had just arrived at the remnants of Greenleaf and found it under attack. So we begin today with the 4 of you, Hektor, Rilla, Zurabak, and Ruger Firehide, along with Snake, Rutherfur, and the Stricken, as you stand outside what once was the proud and beautiful village of Greenleaf. Like all elven communities, it consists of a network of wooden platforms, rope bridges, and ladders, all intricately laced within the boughs of ancient trees, but its territory seems to have shrunk to at least half of its former size. The trees on the outskirts of town and moving inward in concentric rings of corruption have been blighted, the bark black and cracked, the leaves crumbling in the slightest breeze, and the remainder of this village has been fortified with wood being hammered between the great trunks of the few remaining trees and elven defenders patrolling them. They look desperate, emaciated, wild-eyed, and as they are patrolling the perimeter of this palisade wall they've fixed to the small circle of trees remaining in Greenleaf, a massive blighted oak is assailing their palisade wall. It is a towering ancient tree. Its bark is jet black with streaks of terrible blood red, and a twisted, pained face stares out from this tree, screaming in wordless agony as it smashes enormous limbs curled like fists against its palisade wall. This is the situation you all find yourselves in. What do you do?
I run at it.
Okay, I should have known that. I guess let's just roll initiative.
Yikes.
Also, while I run at it, I go, ah! Oh, nice. Pretty solid.
Oh, I gotta look up Snake too.
It's like 50.
There he is.
All right, Rilla, what'd you get on your initiative?
9.
Okay. Hector, what'd you get on your initiative?
16.
And Ruger?
10.
And Zurabak?
Zerback got 17, Snake got 15.
Okay. And the tree got this number.
Damn, that low?
Zurabak, you are the first to react. So you all came out of the tree line to find a massive tree creature is assailing what remains of the village of Greenleaf. Y'all are about 100 feet away from the palisade wall surrounding the village. This tree is just at the palisade wall directly in front of you, wailing on this thing. It doesn't seem to have registered your presence yet. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
How far away is it? Sorry.
Like 100 feet.
I, walk towards the village.
Okie dokie. Do you double move, or what are you sprinting towards there, or you just move up 30 feet?
Probably just moving up 30 feet.
Cool. So, Zurabak approaches cautiously, shuffling forwards, ambling, more like closing the distance between him and the village and the tree that is assailing it. As Zurabak takes measured steps forward, Hektor is running full tilt.
Running half tilt while I drink a potion of bull strength. And then once I'm done drinking that, then he picks the pace back up.
Okay. All right, so Hektor grabs a potion of bull strength, and this Red Bull gives you wings. Your muscles swell, like a bodybuilder as you cover the crunchy, dying grass of the forest, and you surge forward, weapon in hand. Unfortunately, not close enough to attack, but we'll get him next turn. That makes it Snake's turn. What's Snake doing?
Slithering along 10 feet behind me. Yeah, he's a 20-feeter.
All right, so Snake casually slithers on up behind Zurabak, and Rilla, it is your turn. You are disguised as a human sorceress. You are drunk, and from the binge you had before you all came here, and you are also slightly poisoned by those bad bugs.
Just a bit.
How you feeling?
Not great.
Okay.
I'm not letting Zurabak get to my village first, so I'm gonna double move to get in front of him. That's all I'm doing.
If you just want to run flat out, you can move 4
I don't want
times
to
your
hit
speed.
the tree. If he's gonna stroll, if I just get 30 feet in front of him, I'm around in front of him. So that's enough.
Okay.
I lurch forward drunk
Gotcha.
and just, move at a faster clip than him and the snake.
Gotcha. All right, so Rilla drunkenly stumbles forward, desperate to not let Zurabak get to her home before she does. And Ruger.
Ruger takes battle axe and light steel shield in each hand and rushes forward, full movement speed towards the giant towering tree.
Excellent. So you can... you just rush straight up to the trees behind.
I thought it was 100 foot away.
It is. If you flat out sprint, you can move 4 times your speed. If you do nothing but run, you can do up to 4 times your movement speed. In version 3.5, folks, the version we're playing, get with it!
There you have it.
Or don't.
Or don't. More for us.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and rush directly into the face of the tree with axe aflame and shield in hand, ready to bear down the brunt of it.
Excellent. So Ruger, the paladin of Protoss, draws their battle axe, says the command word, and as it sparks alight with flame, you stream across the battlefield to stand right before this tree. And as you get to the end of your turn, you are standing right behind it. Its massive body is groaning like the hull of a ship as it moves around, swinging its massive fists against this palisade wall. It is so big that it has not noticed you behind it yet, and it is now the tree's turn. What this tree is going to do is, from the twisted face that is apparent in the front of it, it is going to let out a mournful, terrible cry that shakes the limbs of the trees still standing behind this palisade wall, and it's going to lift its massive arms and bring both of them crashing down on this fortification. And it is going to do a shit ton of damage. It brings its massive fist down, and the palisade wall where you're standing, or the palisade wall like right in front of where you're standing, Ruger, buckles underneath its massive blows, and the wood splinters and shatters. 2 elven defenders who were standing on this wall, desperately shooting arrows at it, fall off back into the village, and this thing takes one massive step forward, throwing its body against the rest of it. It has breached this wall. That is the tree's turn.
Do we have any idea, any of us in the party, do we recognize what this tree is? What kind of creature?
If anybody wants to roll me a nature check,
I'll do that.
you're more than welcome.
Would a bardic knowledge check tell me something about what this is?
Of course, Hector. Roll a bardic knowledge check.
Nice.
Ruger, what'd you get on your nature?
Honestly, not great. 12 in total, 6 plus 6. So, yeah, bummer.
11 on a bardic knowledge check.
That's enough to know basically what this is. Ruger, you know from your life spent on the trail, just in nature, and Hector, you know from your studies in the Hall of Whispers, this is a treant. This is a living tree creature. They are normally benevolent guardians of nature. They protect the trees and plants from those who would bring harm to them. But they are just massively powerful and incredibly tough living trees that can do incredible damage to structures and objects with their massive wooden fists.
Fun. Is this creature huge? Bigger? Smaller? Large?
It is huge. Yes, it is the huge size category.
How tall would you say this is? Approximately?
Oh, man. Like 50 feet tall.
Dope.
Cool.
Doable.
Yeah. I was eyeing up a similar thought, I think.
Okay, so that is the tree's turn, and now we're going to go back to the top of the order with Zurabak. Zurabak, it's your turn. You're about, like 60 feet away from this thing. What you got?
Casually walking forward, another 30.
Okay. Any actions, any spells, or just strolling?
Just strolling.
Cool.
Tree's not our problem.
As Zurabak continues his casual stride, that makes it Hector's turn. Hector the Gatekeeper. You're about 60 feet away from this thing. What do you do?
I run all the way to it and start climbing.
Okay. Excellent. So you rush towards this massive tree. It's gonna take you. What's your? Yeah. With room to spare. And this thing has not yet noticed your presence. So yeah, go ahead and let's see. Why don't you roll me a touch attack first to get up and get a hold of it?
Okay. It's gonna be 28.
Okay, yeah, you rush up and with your massive barbarian muscles enhanced by this bull strength potion, you're able to get your mitts firmly on this tree and roll me a climb check.
28.
Yeah, you scamper up that thing. You're about 10 feet up this tree at this point.
And that's my turn.
Yeah, the bark crumbles underneath your hands. The blackened, corrupted bark of this thing flakes off like dry moss or almost like scabs. And as you sink your fingers into this thing, this horrific putrescent stench just assails your nostrils, and you get this terrible, like, red goop on your hands as you have to dig, like, inches into this thing in order to get a handhold. It is unpleasant. Roll me a fortitude saving throw to see if you can handle this stink.
26.
Fantastic. Yeah, you're able to get that horrible stink in your sniffer, and you are Totally fine. Nicely done. So yeah, you're about 10 feet up this tree.
Okay.
Good shit. That is going to make it Snake's turn. Is Snake ambling casually?
Correct.
All right. And I flipped Rilla and Ruger last time. It is Ruger's turn. So Ruger, you are standing at the ass end of this massive tree. It has just broken the palisade wall. Right next to you, Hektor screams past you, sinks his mitts into this tree's crumbling bark, and starts climbing. What do you do?
Well, for a moment, I consider yelling out to Hektor to ask him what the plan is. But then I realize whether or not it's true. Ruger just assumes he's in a rage, one of his patented rages, because he's screaming.
Absolutely.
So I refrain from that. I also decide not to climb the tree, and instead, I take my flaming battle axe, and I start hacking at this thing's roots.
Fuck yes you do. Go ahead and roll some attack rolls as you wield your flaming battle axe against this blighted treant.
Okay, so that is a 25 on my first attack.
That is absolutely a hit.
Alrighty. So, 8 points of regular damage, 4 points of fire damage. Now I'm gonna take another attack with the flaming battle axe. Nice. So that is a 24. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll that damage again.
That's definitely a hit.
Ooh, okay, so max regular damage, so 12 points of regular damage, and 3 points of fire damage. And just for narrative purposes, and also because I want to do more damage, in addition to hacking at the roots with my battle axe, I'm also then breaking off chunks of the root with my shield. So here are my shield attack rolls. Damn, rolling some heat right now. So that's a 28 on this attack roll.
Absolutely, that's a hit.
And this one is just a steel shield. Okay, so that is 6 points of damage. And last attack. That might actually be a miss. 11.
Unfortunately, 11 is not enough to get through this creature's natural armor. But yeah, you unleash a flurry of strikes against this massive, corrupted tree. Your flaming axe bites deep into its roots, and you carve off a huge chunk. The second the flames start licking up this thing's blighted bark, it howls in pain and fury. It tries to contort, it lifts one of its roots out of the ground, rippling a huge chunk of earth underneath your feet, almost knocking you on your ass. But you're able to club this thing with your shield and break off a few chunks. It definitely felt that. And it is not happy. That is Ruger's turn. It is Rilla's turn. Rilla, what you got?
Chucking a fireball at its face.
Fantastic.
Specifically, because it's tall enough that won't hit Hektor.
Yes. Fireball is a 20-foot radius. Hektor's not high enough to get hit by the fireball. Good shit. That's teamwork.
Yes.
Also, Hektor might be on top of a burning, on-fire tree. And
fire at both ends.
It's been a while since Hektor's had to outrun fire.
So it's a DC 16 reflex save for half damage.
It did not get that reflex saving throw.
You don't say.
I do say.
Damn, I guess you do. Gives the brakes, kid.
28 points of fire damage.
Damn.
And then I want to move another 30 feet in front of Zerback and the snake because they just caught up to me. Is there what's the entrance looking like? I'm getting close, right?
Yeah, so this enormous palisade wall is made out of logs of unblighted wood that are sort of just stacked up and lashed to the last standing trees. It looks like the folks here actually cannibalized some of the forest in order to make this barrier, and the only entrance seems to be where this massive tree just smashed through the palisade wall. So the only way it seems to get in that you can see from your current angle is like in the wake of this corrupted treant.
Okay.
It's made a hole like 20 feet wide, and it's taken like a step inside.
So you're saying that there is no other visible gate, so these people just straight up barricaded themselves in their own city.
That's what it looks like. There's no gate, there's no portcullis, there doesn't seem to be any opening. It's like they wanted to keep every possible fucking thing out of here. You could also, I mean, they're logs, you could definitely climb them if you wanted to. The walls are like 20 feet high. So yeah, that is Rilla's turn. Yeah, you pull upon the magic in your very blood, and you conjure a small mote of flame in the palm of your hand that zips out through the putrefied air of this forest and smashes into the side of this treant's face, where it blossoms into a beautiful eruption of crackling flames that ripple along its form. All of the branches that top this thing's head are completely on fire. Every leaf, black and blighted, that was on this thing immediately like vaporized and swirls of crumbling ash, and it screams. Like every bit of air in its lungs is being forced out. It bellows and howls so loudly that it vibrates your eardrums. I'm gonna need everyone to roll me fortitude saves against the this oppressive sound.
No.
Man, I'm glad my modifier is good because that roll was poor. Dirty 20, but my roll was a 7.
Okay.
I also got a dirty 20.
Okay.
Brag. I got an 8. Okay, this is very hard with the drinking and the poisoning. Now I'm deaf, apparently.
You're gonna take 8 points of damage, Rilla Long Shadow, as your ears start to bleed. Zurabek, what'd you get on your fortitude save?
Like a 20 plus, and then Snake got 23.
Cool. Y'all are both fine. Sweet, that was Rilla's turn. So you moved up and cast Fireball?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, this tree is, it is now the tree's turn. This tree is not having a good day. It is on fire. There is a human on it, and there's another human that is, slashing into its roots. So what this treant does is it does an about face. Ruger, you are standing just at this thing's feet, and you see a massive creature, some 50 feet tall and like 15 feet across, whip around with such speed and ferocity that it boggles the mind. Its roots are ripped out of the ground, throwing giant fountains of soil around as it bears down on you. It looks at you, still aflame, still screaming, and looks over at Rilla, and then it just surges forward over the ground, just running right over you and Rilla in its path. It charges 60 feet in a line from the just inside this wall to trample you and Rilla, who are directly in it, and Zurabek. Because it's big enough, and yeah, y'all are... Yep. Hektor, what you're going to need to do is roll me a climb check to stay on this running, burning tree. Real quick.
Natural 20.
Ah!
For a total of 30.
30? Hey, Hektor, you're still on the tree, bud. Good job, bud. You're still on the tree.
Well done.
So yeah, this corrupted treant, in a mad dash, charges away from the town of Greenleaf, but it charges directly over, Ruger and Rilla and Zurabek, and Snake's a little too far back, so his movement speed sucks. So I'm gonna need the three of you to roll me, reflex saving throws.
Hey, my modifier's decent on... Oh my...
God damn it. I rolled a 1.
I also rolled a 1!
Oh no.
I got a 21 altogether.
Okay, so, Ruger, what'd you get?
Oh, a 1.
Rilla and Ruger both rolled 1s, and Zurabek, that is an impressive number, but it is not high enough to get this save. So the three of you have been trampled by this corrupted treant, and you are all going to take full damage as this thing just runs roughshod right over all three of you.
It's the worst fucking day.
Let's go.
It's not a good day, so that's going to be 22 points of damage.
Ouch.
To Ruger, Rilla, and Zurabak as a colossal tree just rushes right over you, smashing you to the earth with its roots. It is now 60 feet away from the walls of what's left of Greenleaf. Hektor, you were still riding it. So it's now standing basically right in front of Zurabak and Rilla. It just ran over you, so it's there right next to you. But yeah, essentially, everyone is now between this treant and the village. So good job. That is the tree's turn. That's going to bring us back up to Zurabak. Zurabak, this corrupted treant just trampled you. It is standing over you, burning, screaming, in terrible pain. What do you do?
I'm gonna touch it.
Terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Does a 27 touch?
A 27 does hit this creature's touch armor class, which for the record is 6.
Very low, yeah. I was like, such a wasted roll, but okay. And then I cast Blight. Gets a fortitude save.
Ooh!
Blight the Blighted.
Damn. Double negative equals proof positive. Maybe no cure of the void.
Would you like to tell our listeners what Blight's about?
Right. This spell withers plants and plant creatures. Affected plant creature takes, what level are we? 10, so 10d6 points of damage. And
alright, so it gets a fortitude saving throw?
Yeah, if it wasn't a plant creature, it would just die.
Damn. Excellent. So yeah, I cannot think of a more apt spell for Zurabak than fucking Blight. So you reach out a hand and lay it on the side of this corrupted treant and channel horrific wasting energy into this thing, trying to wither it. Let me roll the saving throw. Ooh, boy!
It probably got it.
Rolling hot garbage today. It got a 12 on its fortitude saving throw.
Oh, well, it was close.
That is full damage, my man.
So it's 10d6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 33.
Damn!
A lot of ones. More 4s, though, it looks like.
Excellent. Yeah, Zurabak, you place your hand on the side of this creature, and as you channel this horrific withering magic into its form, you see this thing like double over in pain. Its screams take on a different cast. They sound wheezier, almost breathless, and you can see this whole thing just sort of like slouch over, its body groaning and creaking from the effort. And yeah, this thing visibly withers. Its trunk shrivels up, some of its branches. You have severely fucked this thing up. Yeah, its form looks like it's wasting away, but it is still stubbornly clinging to life. That's going to make it Hektor's turn. Hektor, you are 10 feet up this corrupted creature. It is your turn. What would you like to do?
First of all, just to start things off, I would like to rage.
Gotcha. You tap into your barbarian bloodlust and you become a screaming embodiment of violence.
He was already screaming.
Yeah, but now he's a screaming embodiment of violence. So
It's evolved. Right, okay.
There you go.
And then I would like to climb up a bit higher. I want to get around mid-back.
Okay.
It's kind of where I want to be.
Roll a climb check. It's part of your move action.
Ooh. Well, that's still... I rolled a 6 on the dice, but that's an 18 total.
Considering this thing is partially rotted and squirming around, an 18's not going to be quite enough to get any higher on this creature. You don't lose your spot, but you cannot advance. Unfortunately, you try to scrabble up, and as you put your arm higher to climb up, you find like just an empty pocket of goop, and your hand slides straight through the dried bark on the outside, and you just find just a pocket of putrescence which oozes out over your hand, and you are unable to climb up any higher.
Alright, then I am going to just strike once where I am with a hand axe.
Okay. Yeah, you pull a trusty gatekeeper hand axe out of your belt and start hacking.
31.
That is absolutely a hit. My man, that is absolutely a hit. Jesus.
There's a lot of bonuses going on now.
Yes, there are.
So many bonuses, so little time.
15 points of damage.
Fantastic.
And that's my turn.
Sweet. Yeah, you drive your hand axe deep into the side of this creature, and you shear off a nice wedge of wood as you work your massive muscles and use one of the signature weapons of the Gatekeeper clan, a good old hand axe. You knock quite a solid wedge of wood out of this thing's hide. It is Snake's turn. Does Snake want to do anything?
Yeah, sure. He'll bite it.
Yeah, go ahead and roll an attack roll.
Let's see. 16 plus 4 or 5.
That is a hit.
21.
Your snake's powerful fangs are able to pierce the hide of this enormous hulking treant.
Oh, the hit.
I'm starting to, just a little bit, feel bad for this treant.
Well, maybe he should have ran over me.
He did run over you.
I'm still picking dirt out of my teeth.
Didn't run over me.
Yeah, Hektor kind of limited his output, but boy, he has not been hit yet, and that's great for him.
Is it immune to poison?
Yeah, I think plants can be poisoned. Fuck it. It got 22 on its fortitude save.
Yeah, that's probably fine. That definitely beats the 14.
Okay, how much damage?
10.
Excellent. Yeah, your snake lashes out with its fangs, driving them into the bark of this tree creature. And it is not having a good time. What with all the fire and the withering, it's just a hat on a hat. But yeah, it is definitely circling the drain. That brings us to Ruger Firehide. Ruger, it's your turn. What do you got?
Okay, so it ran over me and I'm a little bit of ways back, correct?
Yeah, you're like 30 feet away
yeah,
from
that
it.
sounds about right.
I
I mean, I was 30 feet in between me and Rilla, I think, and then it ran over me.
Yeah,
and then
that's
Rilla.
fine. Yeah, you're like 30 feet away from it. That's
Yeah.
fine.
Well, I've got little choice but to rush forward and re-engage. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to rush forward, and I'm going to re-engage, and I'm going to hit it
Fantastic.
with my flaming battle axe, hopefully. Well, that's pretty good. 26. So, yeah.
That is absolutely a hit. So yeah, Ruger, you dust off the dirt all over your duster coat and get your feet back under you, and you surge over with your flaming battle axe in hand and cleave into this tree. How much damage?
8 regular points of damage and 5 fire.
Fantastic. Ruger, you rush over, and with your axe in hand, you sever a major root that you were working on before this thing knocked you the fuck over. You actually saw like a weakness in this load-bearing structure as it ran the fuck over you, and you follow up on that and place your flaming axe deep into this root, and it cleanly severs off, like nearly cauterizing the wound, and this thing starts to groan, and then it starts to totter, and then it starts to tumble the fuck over, falling like a felled oak of massive size. I'm gonna need Ruger and Hektor to roll me reflex saving throws as it falls toward y'all, and Hector's on it.
So I rolled a 7 on the dice for a total of 17.
I rolled a total of 18.
Okay. Unfortunately, it's not going to be quite enough to get away unscathed from a 50-foot tall tree falling on top of you. That's going to be 22 points of damage. As this tree basically tramples you again. You both get scuffed up and bludgeoned by this thing, but you're able to roll out of the way before it crushes you to death. And battered and bruised, you roll away from it, and its titanic form finally smashes into the forest floor. There is the crackling of branches and roots like the bark of thunder as it finally hits the ground, and its screaming is stilled. You are standing around the corpse of this treant, which oozes this nasty red fluid into the ground as it lays there. And yeah, the village of Greenleaf, what remains of it, a small cry goes up in celebration at the destruction of this creature. And you see a few elves tentatively stick their heads out from the massive hole in the palisade wall that this creature smashed in. What do y'all do?
I rip myself free from the carcass of this dead treant, pulling myself from the bark and bramble, and I am a battered and bloody mess. So for a second, Old Man Ruger just squats in the field next to this dead treant and, finds his center. And I don't know, I might lay on hands.
Yeah, do it up.
So I'm gonna heal myself for my... Fuck it. I'm gonna save 1 health point just in case. So I'm gonna heal myself for 7 health points.
Okay. So channeling the power of your god Protoss, you are able to close up some of your wounds and patch yourself up a little bit. Anybody else got anything?
I stagger towards the gate immediately to see which elves fell, because that's important. I am very drunk and very injured, and it's not a good walk, but I gotta make sure, I gotta look at some faces.
Okay.
Hector moves to catch up to Rilla, and as he does, he is going to go ahead and cast Cure Moderate Wounds.
One of your new bard spells.
Nice.
It's my highest level spell, my 1 spell slot of that level for the day.
While Hector's administering healing, I am going to go ahead and pick myself up and go ahead and catch up with Hector.
Sure.
Rilla, you heal 11 damages.
Thanks, Hector. I fucking hate this forest. Fuck this place. And they're like a whisper, do you see why I left?
Yeah, this is pretty bad.
What I see is the consequence of one man's hubris. And then I look at Anthony.
Yeah, Anthony has been leaning against a tree stump with his arms folded, just watching the whole thing, and he says, I mean, that's completely fair. Good job, though. And he starts to wander over. Zurabak, you following your companions into the town?
Yeah, after he kicks the tree.
Yeah, you kick it real good. A bunch of its bark snaps off, and you get nasty red goo all over your foot.
Stupid tree.
So yeah, y'all approach the remnants of Greenleaf, and you get to this hole in the palisade wall, and there are a small handful, about 4 elves, standing guard there. They all have bows in their hands with arrows knocked, and they are staring wide-eyed at you from gaunt, weathered faces. They're smattered with dirt. They're sweating, and the sweat's like carving lines in the dirt on their and dust on their faces. They look even more gaunt and willowy than elves normally do. It seems like they haven't eaten in a while. And they are like visibly trembling as your party approaches. One of them says, hold it right there. Who are you?
Hector is going to quietly mumble to Rilla. Are you taking point because you know these people, or do you want to be specifically quiet here because of the you know these people?
Who am I looking at? Anyone important?
So, Rilla, surprisingly, you don't recognize any of the 4 elves you see guarding this gate. You have not seen any of these people before. There's 2 men and 2 women. They are definitely wild elves. They are from the Springvale Forest, but these are not villagers from Greenleaf that you can tell. These are unfamiliar faces.
Hector, I don't know who the fuck these people are. Not my village. You take the lead.
Hello there. Sorry, I am Hector the Gatekeeper, keeper of the gates and bard extraordinaire of the College of Everspring. These are my companions. We are protagonists, and we are traveling through on a great quest.
I see that fancy badge you got there. Look, we appreciate the help. That tree was gonna kick all of our asses just all up and down this place, but we're not supposed to let any outsiders in. Elder Willow said we can't let anyone in here. He says that outsiders bring the blight. Well, I'm sorry, we can't let you in. And at that name, Rilla, that does ring a bell. Elder Willow is the worst, most brutal elder that you remember running this town from your childhood. Elder Willow was the most insistent on experimenting on you and the most invasive during those experimentations.
Rilla involuntarily snarls and then tries to turn it into a cough. But, like, her face goes, like, white.
Yeah.
Well, friend, we're sorry to hear that you're not interested in allowing our passage, but I do have unfortunate news for you. You see, we are brought here by divine purpose. I don't know if you heard, but my friend here mentioned that we are protagonists. We are emissaries not only of the Bardic College of Everspring, but also emissaries of Protoss himself, and we are here, amongst many purposes, to help you, despite our best efforts. We're here to stop what's happening to this town. So one way or another, we will be coming in.
Roll me, is this a diplomacy or an intimidation? What do you think?
I'm gonna go with diplomacy. I'm not trying to be threatening.
Sure, yeah. Yeah, roll me diplomacy.
That's pretty good. So that is a 21 in total.
Nice.
Damn! Holy shit!
To be fair, I put points in it, so my modifier is 9. I rolled a 12.
Nicely done, Mr. Firehide. Holy shit. Look, friend, I'm just a small-town country paladin, and I reckon we're here to help.
Just a small town country space chicken.
Your folksy charm is able to win over these poor, hungry elves. They hesitate for a moment, but then they part to let you in. Okay, I guess if you're sent by the gods, maybe you can help us. But don't let Elder Willow know that we let you in. He's so angry these days. He'll hurt us.
I can't make you that promise, because unfortunately I'm not going to tell Elder Willow that we broke in to the village. We are coming because you're allowing us, but that's fine, friend. Everything's fine. We are here to help. Speaking of which way do we need to go to help? And also, where might we find this Elder Willow?
Elder Willow is in the Elder Sanctuary. The elf points, and in the very heart of this remaining cluster of about a dozen trees, there is one massive oak, about twice as wide as any of the rest of them. And on the highest boughs of this tree, there is this wooden, it's like a manor house. It is this sprawling mansion made up of several different, like, smaller buildings that are all connected, all in this one massive tree. It seems like every part of it is, naturally grown into the wood of the tree itself. And it's by far the biggest building in this entire encampment. Rilla, you know this well. The Elder Sanctuary is where the 3 elders of Greenleaf run shit, where they hold courts, where they have their judgments, and where they did their experiments on you.
Of course.
Nice. Just a little dose of trauma. No big deal.
Yeah. You can find Elder Willow in the sanctuary, but please be careful. He hasn't been the same since this blight came to the forest. He's so angry, and he hates all outsiders. The last runner that came through here, well, you can see for yourself. And this elf points to a spot on this palisade wall. Now that you are inside, you can see that there are weathered and seemingly starving, desperate elves just sort of stationed all around inside this defensive barrier. A lot of them are on the ground, not higher up in the trees, kind of looking after this wall. And inside the wall, a little farther beyond where you came in, there is a figure chained to the logs piled up to make this wall. And it is the form of a centaur. And this centaur is familiar. Hektor, you specifically remember this centaur as one that struck you as an ill omen long ago as you all passed through the Raging Sands. This is Colt, the runner that brought the dark tidings to Rilla from her Aunt Arifin so long ago.
And that I sent to this fucking forest.
And that you all sent to the Gate Mountain Range and to the Springvale Forest to send a message to your sister Dara. Colt, the runner, the centaur, is chained to the inside of this palisade wall. He is stripped of all clothing. His hat and his coat are gone, and he is missing a leg. One of his legs is gone. The stump is wrapped with bandages, and his arms and the rest of his legs are covered in layers of chains that are bolted into the logs of this palisade wall. And there are 2 elves standing guard on either side of it. And his head is hanging. There's dried, caked blood on his face and chest. He looks fucking terrible. This elf says, "The last outsider that came, he came just after the blight got really bad, and he said he was a messenger, and we get runners here, but Elder Willow said that the outsiders bring the blight, and so we hurt him. I don't know, they say it's bad luck to hurt a runner. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore. We've been trapped for so long here. The trees are trying to kill us. It's bad. It's really bad."
You keep saying Elder Willow, but what do the other elders have to say?
They're dead. They died.
All of them?
Elder Willow's the only elder left. I'm not even from Greenleaf. I came from farther west. Our elders died too. We came here seeking refuge. We thought at least some place might still be standing. This was the only village we could find. There's so few of us left, and Elder Willow's the only elder that any of us have been able to find.
I kind of put a consoling hand on this elf's shoulder, and I say, "It's all right, lad. Now we are going to have to set that centaur free. You understand that, right?"
A look comes over this face of this elf that is incredibly troubling. I'm gonna need you to roll me in a sense motive check real quick. Everyone can do this to just read this dude's reaction to that statement.
Yeah, that is in total a dirty 20.
17.
4.
Zerback doesn't care. They're all doomed.
Absolutely. Zerback is whistling and, like, I don't know, whittling a stick or some shit. Rilla, you know what PTSD looks like.
Mm.
This elf has been traumatized by Elder Willow. His reaction is absolute fear to the point of, like, insanity. Like, hysteria. Ruger, you can tell as you put a hand on this dude's shoulder, there are pretty fresh-looking wounds that are recently bandaged along his back.
Damn.
There's a lot of them, and they don't look like the kind of wounds you'd get in a straight-up fight if you were guarding the palisade wall of a, village. It looks like someone hurt this elf recently.
I flash a look of concern to both of my companions. Zerback, I know he doesn't care, so I don't spare him a look.
Yeah.
But I do make eye contact with Hektor and, sort of gesture towards Colt. I'm not too keen on him being chained up.
This elf, as you said, is like, please don't, please, you can't do this, please, Elder Willow will. And at that, a voice cuts through this conversation. And high up in that main central tree, by the elders, from the elder sanctuary, you see a figure standing on a platform that is obviously made for public addresses like this. It is a wooden balcony jutting out from the tree that gives a perfect view of everything around, and you see an ancient-looking elf man in verdant green robes that look like they are stitched out of fresh leaves. They like rustle in a slight breeze coming through, and a voice cuts through and says, "I see another outsider has been let in. You all court disaster with the weakness of your resolve. Do none of you listen? Do none of you believe the words I say? I've given my life to protecting the people of this forest, and you disobey me. No outsiders are allowed in Greenleaf. We can only rely on ourselves. Who are you that you would come here and disturb the peace of this village?" Every elf around you completely stops. Some of them drop their weapons. They all cast their eyes down on the ground, and the 4 elves around you take 5 steps back away from you all, so you are just left completely alone. Every elf in here is like eyes downcast, hands behind their back, like cringing from the words this man's saying.
I stand defiantly while looking up towards him, but I defer to Hektor to...
Rilla's in a full rage, and she is clenching her hands about to cast a fireball and fighting the urge really hard.
For sure.
Like, she is hunched down and, like, sweating and, like barely controlling herself. Like,
Absolutely.
barely. And she's whispering, like, gave his life? His life?
I mutter under my breath, breathe, daughter, breathe.
Oh yeah, to remind the listeners in case anyone forgot, Rilla's cover identity is a human woman named Daughter, so that's not like a weird thing that Ruger's doing, that's like, there's a reason for that. Anyway,
Thanks for that clarification.
It's pretty weird.
Also, in real life, Alex is my dad.
Just so everyone knows, Alex is 50 and Beth is 14, so it works out fine. Anyway, what are we doing?
Hektor is going to cast Ghost Sound, which I will use in this instance as a voice amplifier. I can make
Absolutely.
a sound as loud as 4 human voices per caster level, so that's a total of 16 human voices in volume that I can manage. Fear not, for we are protagonists, sent by Protoss himself to rid you of the blight. And I say that so that as many elves, I want to make sure that that's heard, by as many elves, not just Willow,
Sure. Do you want to maybe throw an Inspire Courage on top of that? For fun narrative stuff?
Ooh, yes.
Ooh, just so you know, I have an aura of courage, and so companions within a 10-foot radius of me are immune to fear effects.
That's tasty!
Yeah, I'm immune to fear.
That's tasty too.
Yeah, so the that elf that,
Yeah.
took those wounds, he's probably feeling a little perked up. +4.
That's a fantastic point. Hector, go ahead and roll me a perform real quick as you say these very carefully selected words.
17.
Okay. So, did you want to use Inspire Courage to sort of bolster these elves around you?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so Hector, you amplify your voice magically, and like the performer you proclaim who sent you and what you're here to do. Your voice booms out across what is left of green leaf and hits the ear of every elf around you. You use your bardic powers to inspire courage within them, lightening their hearts, and the elves immediately around you, even as they step away, thanks to Ruger's aura, are emboldened themselves. And the 4 elves around you all take a second, sort of come to a decision in their heads. One of them says, Elder Willow, these people took down that tree. They saved us. That thing would have killed us all. It was already through the wall. They're here to help. They didn't bring the blight. I think they can save us. Elder Willow looks furious for a second. His face turns purple. Rilla, you've seen this look before.
Oh, yeah.
It does not bode well. This is how he reacts to any insolence. But he takes a quick look around. He sees the desperation on these elves' faces, and he sees the beginnings of a little bit of defiance. And he looks at all of you and your arms and armor, almost like he's weighing you all, and he says, Right, of course. Right, protagonists, yes. Any servant of the god of heroes is welcome in the Springvale Forest. Forgive me, I was taken by the madness that's descended upon this place. Please, You are welcome here if your aim is to help us. Come in. Let us discuss your mission and what you plan to do.
Oh, that just sounds like a lie. Zerbeck just actively says that.
Can I roll a sense motive?
Oh, absolutely.
I don't trust him, but
I don't even need a sense motive. Yeah, I'm like, this fucker lies constantly.
Yeah, I mean it's a total waste, but I did roll a critical 20 for a total of 30.
All right. Not only on that sense motive, 30 altogether?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
He's not undead, is he? Because if he is, it's higher.
Let me tell you a couple things about Elder Willow. He has a limp in his caused by some sort of old wound, most likely in his left leg. He is visibly sweating. You with your keen eyes, you can see that he is some beads of sweat are falling down his face as he's exposed like this in front of you all. His left hand is clenched tightly into a fist that he's trying to hide behind the sleeve of his robe, and it is shaking like white-knuckled. And as he's talking to you, you see his eyes flicker over his shoulder. You can just barely get it, but his eyes, he turns slightly to look over his shoulder as he like waves his hand to indicate to come in, and there is some shadowy figure behind him inside that building.
Okay. Am I the only one who sees that shadowy figure?
I mean, yeah, you can see that he's like, he's counting on backup, it seems like. Like, yeah, no, come in. Go ahead and come in. He's like looking behind him like there's a motherfucker back there. This man means you harm. This is obviously a trap. This guy's trying to lure you in to fuck you up.
I say quietly under my breath to my near-at-hand companions, this is a trap. It's a setup.
Duh.
Yup.
Yeah, guys, but, like, there's a shadowy figure behind him. Like, no, seriously, it's a trap.
I cast Ghost Sound again. We appreciate your offer, but as you can see, we are weary from battle. If we could find some lodging and rest for just a short while, we would be more ready to discuss with you what we know about the Blight.
Elder Willow looks crestfallen for a moment. He quickly recovers, says, Yes, of course. You must be rather tired from the journey you've taken. The forest is mad. The trees are out for blood. Even the herbivores are tearing each other apart, of course. I'm sure any one of our remaining forces will allow you to stay in their homes. Wherever you're comfortable. Take your time. Rest well. And when you're ready to discuss what your next moves will be, please come and see me here at the sanctuary. I'm sure I have much information that can be of service to you.
And I cast Ghost Sound one last time.
Yep.
We appreciate your hospitality. We are going to need to go ahead and free the runner.
And, like, without even waiting for permission, I start walking towards Colt. I just start marching directly towards Colt.
Yeah, Elder Willow takes a step forward and puts both of his hands on the railing of this balcony and, like, leans over it, gripping it with shaking hands, and says, That runner is an outsider. He's cursed. Like all outsiders, he brought this blight behind him. You cannot let him go. The forest rebels against us because we've renounced our ways. He must be punished. There's a wild zeal to this dude's eyes as he says this. He's like almost screaming it. Like there's bits of spittle fly from his lips as he says this shit.
Hektor starts stepping forward towards him, just generally. Like, I know that would be a lot of stepping.
Zerback leans over to the stricken. Where's the stupid flower?
The Death's Head orchid you're looking for is beyond this village, far into the heart of the forest. It's at least 2 more days' travel. I think, Zerback, that your friends are a little hurt. They might need to take the night.
Well, let's hope the night doesn't take us.
Oh, shit! Oh, bars. Damn. That's very good. So
yeah, Hektor steps forward. I am out of 0 level spells.
Yeah.
To keep casting ghost sounds.
Sure.
So now I'm just bellowing.
Just as effective.
Indeed.
This man is a messenger who we sent through this way. He did not bring the blight. If anything, he outran it.
Oh, Hektor.
You have done more than enough to him.
Oh, Hektor.
We will free him now.
Beautiful idiot. Says Rilla under her voice. God damn it.
What do you mean you sent him in here? That runner said he bore a message from Rilla Longshadow.
Rilla starts looking for Dara in the crowd immediately.
Do you know her?
Yes, my name is Rilla Longshadow.
Jesus Christ.
This is not a bluff check, this was sarcasm.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I'm marching directly towards Colt and the 2 guards.
And I'm looking for Dara in the crowd.
Okay, you do not see Dara anywhere, Rilla.
Okay.
You do see some people, now that you're inside the palisade wall, you do see a large number of folks that are Greenleaf natives, former neighbors, acquaintances, nobody that you were too close with. Of the, let's say, 50 elves that you can see sort of moving around inside this palisade wall, you see about 30 that are Greenleaf natives, none that you had very close relationship with, and the rest are a smattering of elves from probably other villages and towns. You do not see your sister fucking anywhere. She is not present in your sight. And Ruger, you go over to the to where Colt is chained, and as you get close, you can hear him murmuring, like he's fucking out of it. You can see he's got a pretty massive head wound that no one has seen to. There's blood trickling that is like dried on his face and chest. And he is chained, very like layers and layers of chains that have been like bolted into this wooden palisade. And the 2 elven guards on either side of him look at you, conflicted.
Yeah. Do I have the lead here?
Oh, that's fun. That's fun, because, like, as long as they're not attacking him, they get, like, the bonus to not being scared, but as soon as they do, they're going to get extra scared, because it'll fall away.
That is a fun... Yeah, that's a fun catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they look conflicted, but they do not move to attack you. What do you do, Ruger?
Okay, so I march directly towards them like a man empowered with purpose, and as I approach... I rip my battle axe free from the scabbard of my hip or whatever, and I I yell out in a voice meant for not just them, but anyone else who can hear me. I yell out my, as it turns out, catchphrase for igniting my battle axe on fire. I say, "By the light of Protoss!" And then, flare up the axe, and then I say,
Absolutely.
"You will stand aside," to the two guards.
Very good. That's very good. As you approach, so these elves just watched you and your friends kill an entire tree, and as you approach with your arm held high and your axe catches on fire, these two elves drop their longbows and fucking run away from you. They don't pause for even a second.
Alright, so then what I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna lean hard into the rule of cool Dungeon Master I know I have. I am going to, struck by the divine purpose of Protoss, take my flaming battle axe and swing it at the chain that is binding Colt to the wall, and I'm just gonna
Alex, this is an action movie. You hit the perfect one link that sends all the chains falling off.
I just let Protoss guide my blade and drive it into that one weak link that brings the whole thing.
Yeah. No, your flaming battle axe crashes into one of these chain links, severing it like silk. And,
clearly they're evil. You just might evil them.
Yeah, they're very evil chains. These chains leap off of Cole. His whole body weight now no longer held up by these chains sags, and he begins to flop to the ground. He tries to catch himself, but he's missing one of those legs, and he stumbles.
Alright, so I immediately extinguish the flame of the axe.
Yeah.
Slam it back into its hip holster, and try and brace Colt before he falls.
Cool. Yeah. You cradle him. You catch him, and you hold him upright. He looks at you. His head still hanging, his hair like covering his eyes. He lifts his head up slightly, and looks you in the eye, Ruger, with a blood caked face, and says, "Mister, You just saved my life."
It's alright, friend. We're here now. We'll get you taken care of. And just cause I have it, I put 1 point of health into it. I used my last drop of lay on hands and just pump 1 HP into good old Colt.
Fantastic. Yeah, you use your divine magic to heal him up. His head wound seals up slightly, and he shakes his head, and his eyes become a little clear, and he says, "Well, I appreciate the rescue there, sir. Is that... Oh, by the grace of Narrativa, Hektor and Zura back, right?"
Hey, Colt. Everything's alright, buddy.
I lean over to Hektor. Who is this?
Let's get you out of here in someplace where you can rest. We'll catch up later, okay?
Hektor, I got your message to the mountains, Hektor. I came here with Rilla, but they didn't seem too happy to see me. Where is she anyway? And then he, just starts mumbling deliriously again as you lead him out. Where do you take him?
Back at this exact moment towards Hektor and the group, because I don't know where we're going.
So yeah, as this is all going on, Elder Willow has been silent. He's been casting his eyes over his flock and sort of like trying to figure out the fucking math of how he's going to regain control of the situation. And he looks at everyone and says, "Oh, great heroes, I can see you have the right of it. I've been tested by the forest. I've been tested by this blight, and you have come as a guiding light to show me the truth. It is not this runner's fault. The fault lies with us. The fault lies with our lack of faith. The fault lies with our lack of strength and how we've left the old ways behind. Children of the forest, we must do whatever we can to fix what has gone wrong. It is as I've told you. Though the Clan Longshadow has failed us once, they will not fail us again. There is still hope. There will be blood spilled to save our people.
Fuck.
I fucking snarl.
He steps aside and holds his arm back, and Rilla, you see the face, the smiling, beaming, joyful face of your sister, dressed in green leather armor, step out onto the stage beside Elder Willow. She raises a hand, and a lightning bolt shoots out from her palm into the heavens of the Springvale Forest. A bark of thunder radiates across the entire village of Greenleaf, and Elder Willow says, "You protagonists will guide us to our beloved Dara's final rest as she gives everything to restore the veil to this forest." And Dara nods and raises her other hand and says, "For the blood of the elves!" And that is where we'll end.
Great.
Oh, so they're just gonna take us to the flower. That works.
Hello and welcome to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast, where we take a deep dive into our player characters' frustrations, characterizations, motivations, and try to get a better understanding of them as people. In this part of the show, we like to ask each of our protagonists a question and see if we can't unearth some deeper truth about them. This time, we're doing things a little differently. We're going to take a deep dive into the psyche of Ruger Firehide today. Ruger, thank you for coming to the studio. How are you?
I am lovely, as always, host, and how are you?
I'm doing just fine. I'm glad you and I get some one-on-one time and can see if we can't really unpack the subject matter. Now, I don't want to hem you in too much, but I am generally curious about your relationship with Protoss. Now, you received the calling at the College of Everspring after signing up with the Stricken and his hand-selected protagonists. You yourself were hand-selected by the Stricken, in a manner of speaking, and you have not only received the calling to ascend to a life of service as a paladin of Protoss, the god of heroes, you've also been through quite a trial by fire, if you will, when a villain from your past, Jarmax, destroyed everything you had. Now, you walked out of that completely naked, but not deterred in any way. I think something like that would have shattered other men. I guess I'm curious, do you feel that your connection to Protoss has made you stronger? How has that relationship evolved over time? And how do you feel about the gods now that you are a servant of one of them?
Well, host, I gotta be honest. I love this question. I'm happy to get into this with you. But I think to answer it appropriately, you must first understand where I'm coming from. And begin, young Ruger Firehide, before even the Firehide moniker had taken place, gave little and less thought to the gods. Didn't have much of a place for them and didn't have room. During my Firehide days, my dark Firehide days, I definitely wasn't thinking about the gods then. That I can assure you. But when I returned to Everspring, with the Cipher Golem skull, the stricken in tow, that's when I started to hear it. The calling, as you said. That's when I first started to hear it. And that sound slowly got louder as we continued our quest in Everspring. By the time we had reached the Medusa, it was at a fever's pitch. But I don't think I truly heard it until Jarmax. Till the night of the wedding, when that villain of my past returned. When he took his toll, he took more than he intended. He not only took every material possession I had, but he also took my pain. He took that last drop of pain that I was hanging on to and hiding behind. And subsequently, I found myself naked in a tent ablaze. And it was in that tent that I found my purpose. That I found Protoss. And now, where once, man, I was motivated by grief, pain, and a desire for what I called justice, but in truth was vengeance. Now, I find only Protoss' purpose. I find that now I am motivated by what he's asked of me to do. I thought I gave him everything, and in truth maybe I did, but in the wake of that blaze, all that was left was the purpose he asked of me, a protagonist, as well as my fellow protagonists that I travel with. We need to fix this. We need to fix this blight that is plaguing our world.
You mean the Glyph Purge?
Yes, that. But also, what is happening to our world more presently. This affliction that the Lord Deceiver has set upon this world, this spreading of the Badlands, this blight of the forests, the disasters that are happening all across the world, this bleeding of the void into our world. This is what we have to fix.
And so you believe that you have been uniquely tasked by the God of Heroes for this particular purpose?
It's not a belief, host. It's just sure as sin. I mean, I wear a badge for Christ's sake. It is not only agreed upon by the gods, but by man as well. I am a protagonist, and my relationship to Protoss is I am his servant to do as he asks of me. And in this instance, it is to save the world.
That is an incredibly noble pursuit, and one that speaks to your devotion and your heroism, obviously. I'm curious, though, that brings up an interesting point. You are a protagonist, you are a select champion of the people. You have been singled out as someone that is universally recognized as a hero, as someone on the side of light and justice and goodness, a protector, a warrior for truth and justice. But so are your companions. Rilla and Hektor have been officially declared protagonists as well. But you are a paladin. You are a person that is given power directly by the god they worship. In this case, Protoss, the god of heroes. So I'm curious, what sets your relationship with this god apart from your companions? You have all walked the road of heroes. I'm curious what you think makes you a champion.
Well, champion is a word. But to answer your question, host, I think the difference is Rilla has her sister. Rilla has, the purpose of her people. Hektor has his people, his family back in the gates. And, well, Zurbag has himself. And that seems to be plenty. But for old Ruger Firehide, the reason why I think Protoss chose me specifically is because I have nothing else. He chose me because I'm an empty vessel, purged free of everything else that came before, and am filled with his purpose. Hektor needs to be there for his family, not just this world. Rilla needs to be there for hers. My family's gone. My people are gone. My purpose here is to serve Protoss to the end. That's what makes it different.
Now that is interesting. That is interesting. So for you, your devotion, your drive is singular. You have one goal, one lane, one path before you, and that is to save the world and to serve the will of the God of heroes. And that is how you see yourself set apart, is this singular devotion, this unfettered and undiluted purity of purpose.
To be clear, I'm not calling into question the level of devotion of my companions. This is not...
Oh, of course not.
In any way that I think Hektor would give his life for this cause, just the same as Rilla. And hell, I might even be willing to entertain the idea that Zurbag would, under the right conditions, probably involve food poisoning. But I'll say this. I think at the end of the day, why I hear the calling so cleanly is because I have everything left to give for him, because I have nothing left to give for him. Hektor, like I said, needs to be there for his family. That is a part of his purpose, and that's what Protoss is all about. Purpose. And at the end of the day, I think I am willing to give Protoss every last drop, if that's what it takes. And based on how it's looking, it's probably going to take more than that.
Well, that was certainly an enlightening discussion. I certainly appreciate you exploring this subject in such depth with us today. Just to clarify, the island in which your adventure takes place, the island of Miosha, has two gods. Narrativa, the goddess of stories, and Protoss, the god of heroes. Setting and subject, stage and actor. You serve, you pray to, you are empowered by the god of heroes. I'm curious. You've said a lot of words like purpose, devotion. In your view, what is the prime directive of the god of heroes?
Host Tom, I'll say this. I recently picked up a battle axe that I had enchanted. Enchanted with the ability to light a blaze with flame. Something that would have terrified me to no end not that long ago.
That was a bit of a surprising turn for you, Firehide.
Well, I see clearly now. And the reason why I see clearly, and the reason why I mention this, is because the catchphrase for lighting that battle axe of flame is by the light of Protoss. So my answer to you is, if Narrativa is the light, then Protoss is the one holding the torch. My purpose is to be the torchbearer and spread the light of Protoss.
Very well said. And an excellent point to end on, I think. Mr. Firehide, we certainly appreciate you waxing poetic about your faith and the interesting relationship you've had with the deities of this world. I'm sure all of us can sleep better knowing that men of purpose and moral fortitude like yourself are out there fighting the good fight. I know I am. Because it means that there's less people like Zurabak, which is good.
As always, host, it's been fun chilling with you. But if you don't mind, I gotta get back to the half pipe. Lord Snake is calling.
Yeah, that fucking half pipe. You know, if Snake wasn't so good at skateboarding, I'd start to get upset that there's a half pipe in my studio. But, next time... Holy shit, was that a Pop 360 shove-in? Sharon, did you get a picture of that trick? Shit, the trick. You got the shutter, Sharon. Come on, Sharon. Thank you for listening to As the Dice Turns, the podcast after the podcast. Sharon and I would like to thank you for listening to this program of ours. And until next time, keep those dice turning. Hey there, dear listeners. Sam, your DM here, checking in with the credits at the end of the show. Challenge Rating 0 is edited by Audius Prime, aka Matt Sims. You can find more of his work at audiusprime.com. Music for Challenge Rating 0 is provided by the harp wolf Danielle Williams. You can find more of her work at danielletaylorharp.bandcamp.com. She has an album out called Why Are We Surprised When Seasons Change? You should check it out. It's a real banger. Additional music for Challenge Rating 0 is provided by Justin Raw. Check out his stuff at justinraw.com and check out his album Age of the Spirit, which is available for your purchase and consumption. If you want to reach out to us here at the show, we've got a Facebook and an Instagram at Challenge Rating ZERO. You can hit us up on Twitter at challenge_ZERO. And you can email us at challengeratingzero@gmail.com. You can send us questions for our As the Dice Turn segment. Any questions we receive will be read on air. Thank you all very much for listening to the show. We certainly appreciate your support. We do have a Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/challenge_0 to find out how to support us. If you can't support us fungibly, we totally understand. We ask that you tell a friend about the show. Go on message boards, go on the various internets and tell all of the nerds about Challenge Rating 0. Give us a like, a subscription, download our stuff, give us a rating. We could really use some ratings on some of those podcast platforms that you folks are using out there that really helps us look legit. We appreciate every one of you listening to our silly little show here, and we are going to keep making it and keep making it the best we can. Thank you all very much. I hope you're all doing well, and we'll see you next time. Bye.